Hashtag Rapidgate, hashtag Munich, the Nissan Leaf against the Charger. But not the Dodge Charger, no, the Rapidcharger. Is there really a Rapidgate, or is this unconfirmed rumors? See the ultimate Rapidgate test. Before we start the Rapidgate test, there's something important that you have to know, especially before the trouble-seeking know-it-alls start writing senseless stuff in the comment box. The driving profile for this test was: I was starting from southeastern Munich and was driving about 42 kilometers to Irschenberg. This place is 730 meters above sea level, so 200 meters higher than where we started. 37 kilometers was pure highway driving. Right from the start, I decided to drive like most of us would be driving if we didn't need to pay attention on range and battery temperature. Actually simulating a trip how we got used to it from a combustion engine means if there's no speed limit, no one really likes driving 105 km per hour and being the slowest. So I drove top speed 144 km an hour and 120 if there was a speed limit. That sounds fast for an e-car, but is actually nothing else than flowing with the traffic. The day after this Rapidgate test, I drove from the same place to the Lake Starnberg with my daughter and wife. I was driving more relaxed 110–120 maximum, and there was no increasing battery temperature. But we would like to see now how it is when you're doing a daily, faster driving. Now let's get back to this case. After having reached Irschenberg, I turned around and drove back to the Rapidcharger, being located at the service station Hofoldinger Forst, 40 kilometers away. Same fast driving backwards, but this time 200 meters downhill instead of uphill. When I started the highway driving at the very beginning, the battery temperature was at 26 degrees and state of charge 78.3%, both via Leaf Spy app.
We're just about to arrive now, and I'm really curious what's going to happen now with the first rapid charge that we're going to do now. Maybe even the first rapid charge that this car has ever seen, because it's totally new. It has only 328 kilometers on the dash. And yeah, so now the time has come for the pure truth. The temperature, we're going to be checking it right now when I bring the car to a full stop. And before we start charging, we're going to check the state of charge and also the current battery temperature, which I can tell you in advance doesn't really look good. So guys, you know the parameters of my driving, I was just explaining it, and now we're going to be checking the temperature on the instruments of the Nissan Leaf, what it says, and then the real temperature with the Spy app. So we were starting with quite a de-stressed battery temperature, so it was somewhere here, and through the driving on the highway, realistic speeds if there is no speed limit, it really went up to the red area. As you can see, it's on the same line where the red area starts. Now that doesn't tell us anything about the real battery temperature, and for this we're going to be checking now the Nissan Leaf Spy app, where we can see 48.9 degrees. We have 3 sensors measuring the battery temperature. Here is just at the left, it's 45.9, 48.7 and 44.1. So in the average about 48 degrees is the highest measured temperature, what the Nissan Leaf Spy app says, and state of charge is 32.9%. And compared to this, the Leaf shows 23%, as you can see, so there is always a security gap. It shows you less than the battery actually has, but this is really scaring. So this battery temperature isn't good. When I arrived here, it was 51 degrees. So now let's see how this influences the charging at a rapid charger. The screen is just like a mirror now, as it's a really sunny day. So 1 hour is what the charger says. We're at 23%. And now it's interesting to see what the Spy app says and what the car says. Okay, now we're going to check first what the Nissan Leaf tells us. So the battery temperature went a bit down just by standing for about not really more than 5 minutes, because as you could see it touched the red area. Now it's 1 point below, and here we go. Well, I would say that's quite disappointing. 19 kilowatts that we are currently charging with, and we have just started the charging, so it's not just like we were reaching at just about 70 or 80% where normally the cars are throttling down the charging. No, it's 19 right off the start, and that's really a tragedy. So take a look at that, 2 hours for charging the car fully. So I think we're quite far away from what Nissan says. I mean, they really say or write 40 minutes from 0 to 80%, and that's a lie, or the engineers are just really have to watch out for another job, because they should have seen that while testing these cars within these 2 million kilometers that they were driving around. We're really currently charging 19 kilowatts instead of the 50 that we should get from this charger. It's a DC rapid charger, 50 kilowatt CHAdeMO, and it's just like we thought. So these battery temperatures of about, now currently I will show you, it's 46.9 degrees, as you can see here. 46.9 degrees, and the battery already cooled down a bit by standing, because I'm just not driving now, and even below the 50 degrees Celsius border it charges that slow. 19 kilowatts, 24 degrees is the exterior temperature right now, so that's really a big stone to swallow for every Nissan Leaf owner. Okay, I was just throttling it now on the highway, just where we had no speed limit, 144 kilometers, so pedal to the metal, and when it got limited to 120 I was driving 120, but I think that should be possible without paying the price afterwards, because just imagine you would like to go on a holiday with your family now, and instead of these, let me say 45 minutes, because we weren't starting with 0%, we were starting with 24%, and normally between 24% and 100, or let's say 80, it really should be not more than 45 minutes, but instead of that we have 2 hours that you would need to stand here with your family without having the possibility to drive off, because if you'd like to go on holiday, then you'd like to arrive sometime and not standing at service stations. So that's really disappointing. The battery temperature is at 46.4 degrees. And let's see what we have charged meanwhile. So we've been standing here for only 6 minutes and 43 seconds. And we're charging 2.22 kilowatt hours, starting at 23%, and we went up to 31. Here, and this is something that I'm wondering about, here it writes 1 hour. So this charger claims that the car tells us 1 hour, but actually the car says 2 hours. And by charging with 19 kilowatts, it's more realistic to have 2 hours than 1 hour. But we have to see how it develops. Maybe with the time it changes a bit, because I can see that the battery temperature goes a bit lower just because it's standing, and luckily we've got some trees here donating us shadow, so the Leaf isn't standing in the pure sunlight, it's luckily standing in a shadow, and I think that's quite an advantage, because standing here in the sun is really a difference to standing here in the shadow. So I'd say that I'm going to be updating you with every 10%. So when we have crossed the 40% border, I'm going to check it again, 50, 60, and then we see how it goes on. And we're also going to check the time that we've been charging. We've been charging for almost 20 minutes now, and we're at 43% and still charging with 19 kilowatts. I've just checked it 10 seconds ago in the car. So in the end, I think that's quite sad, and my biggest fear is now that we're going to be throttled down to even less than 19 kilowatts the closer we get to the 70% or the 80% border, because normally we get throttled down anyway. And I think this is going to be what's going to happen to us at about 70%, maybe 14 kilowatts. So that would be the biggest tragedy ever. Now, still 19 kilowatts. So friends, let's check out how far we've come. We're at 53% now. We've been charging for 30 minutes and we have received 10.19 kilowatt hours. And let's also check out the current battery temperature, which is at 47.4 degrees. So the battery temperature went up a bit again, because we were at 46 sometime at the beginning at about 30%. So the battery is still really hot. As you can see, the maximum 47.6 and minimum 43.7, 43.9 now. It's permanently changing. So these are the different sensors checking out the current battery temperature, and state of charge is 57.6%, and the charger says 54. So charger and car always tell you a bit less than it actually is, to have a bit of a security. And of course, another interesting thing that we need to know at these 54, 55% is how fast we are charging, and it's 19 kilowatts. That's so sad, ladies and gentlemen. I think we can be lucky that we haven't got throttled down to 14 kilowatts. But anyway, that's so far away from the 50 or 47 or something like that that we should be normally getting, or what maybe a Ioniq can take, because it doesn't get throttled down, as it has a thermal management just like the BMW i3. So basically, if you're counting like this, doing some maths, instead of, let me say, 45 kilowatts that we should normally be receiving with a thermal management, we're charging with 19, so that's not even the half of it. Means that really, it's the truth, you have to spend the double time at a charger if you drove, I don't even want to say high speeds, because 130, 140 isn't high, it's just high speed for an EV car driver. But if you're coming from a combustion engine just like me, 140 is nothing, especially in Germany. It's, I could almost say it's the speed for falling asleep. But let's say it's fast driving, and if you do some fast driving, or if it's warm like today with 25 degrees, 23 degrees, and if you're charging with a DC rapid charger, then it's just a double time that you have to spend at the service stations. And that's not really a pro for convincing combustion engine drivers how fantastic the Nissan Leaf is. 47.9 degrees for battery temperature. Well, that's kind of sad, isn't it? Well then, we've arrived at 70%, and as you could see, it's still charging with 19. Could have been 14, but also could have been 50 if there was a thermal management. We've been charging for 49 minutes and 35 seconds. And we have received 16.69 kilowatt hours. And in almost an hour, we should have received 40, 35 or something like that. But this is not even the half of it. 71%. And we've been standing around for almost an hour now. and we haven't arrived with 0, we've arrived with 24%. So under normal circumstances, with a Hyundai Ioniq or BMW i3, we could have continued with our trip already about 20 minutes ago. What's my Rapidgate conclusion? Well, there is a Rapidgate, to put it up in a summary, and there is a Rapidgate a lot sooner than we thought at the beginning when the first Rapidgate rumors were coming up on the internet. I mean, I haven't charged DC yet with this car. It's the first rapid charge, and its throttles down, or it already starts with 19 kilowatts, and that's normally not acceptable in my eyes for a car being thrown on the market in 2018 with competitors like the Hyundai Ioniq, like the BMW i3, and many others coming up, just like the Hyundai Kona with a 64 kilowatt hour battery, not even a lot faster while charging. It has a lot bigger battery at the same time, because until now you can say the Hyundai Ioniq, okay, it's charging faster, but it has a lot smaller battery. But when the Hyundai Kona comes, there is actually nothing to say what could be a pro for the Nissan Leaf, as it has no thermal management. And watch my video, my in-depth review about the Nissan Leaf. I just can recommend it to you, because there is many things that this car can do really well, and even a lot better than the Hyundai Ioniq or any comparable car. With the BMW i3, it's the price. Where the Nissan Leaf is more attractive, it has a lot more spacious interior, a bigger boot space. Same for the Hyundai Ioniq, a lot more headroom than the Hyundai Ioniq. It's a lot faster than the Hyundai Ioniq, because there is a difference between 7.9 and 9.9 seconds accelerating, and the design is beautiful, and full LED headlights if you would like to have them. The Pro Pilot, which is really fantastic, better than the driving assist in the Hyundai, and also lots of functions that the BMW i3 doesn't offer. Maybe the traffic assist, of assisting the steering in a traffic, only works above 60 kilometers per hour in the i3. The Nissan Leaf can do it also at lower speeds. But what does that help if you're standing at a charger? Speed doesn't count, looks doesn't count, spacious interior, nothing. It's just that part of your trip where you could get insane because you're standing here for the double time instead of 45 minutes, just like Nissan claims. And that's the biggest thing where Nissan really messed up, because they shouldn't communicate 40 minutes from 0 to 80% when they know that this is impossible under normal circumstances. At 25 degrees, we're not in Dubai, we're not in Arizona, where you have 40 degrees. What does the battery do at 40 degrees? Please tell me this. So these aren't extreme circumstances, and still we have started with 19 kilowatts, and that's really disappointing. I was 2 times so close to cancel my order for the Nissan Leaf just because of that Rapidgate, but in the end I decided not to do it, because my driver's profile, I mean, I'm charging once or twice a year, rapid charging, and it doesn't count then. But for every one of you considering to buy the Nissan Leaf as a car that you can do longer trips with, because this is what Nissan communicates, up to 415 kilometers. Even if that's not true, it's more 240 in summertime on highways and 300 in the city traffic. That's really good. But what does it help if you do very often longer trips, and already at the first rapid charge you get throttled down to 19 kilowatts. You could also charge at an AC 22 kilowatt charger, because okay, not an AC, but these at the supermarkets where you can get 22 kilowatts, maybe this is faster than a rapid charger, and that's something that shouldn't be like that. So Nissan, really, shame on you for having given away the first position, so the pole position in EV cars, and shame on you for having tricked on the people who bought this car maybe in in October, November, December last year, 2017, and having got confronted with that problem, and now they receive their cars and they cannot do anything because they're just, the only thing is they suck at the charger instead of the car. Thank you very much for having watched the Rapidgate test with the hashtag Munich. Maybe you can upload your own experience with the hashtag of your city, where you're from, just like Oslo, Paris, Budapest, wherever you're from, just do Rapidgate hashtag your city, and maybe like this, Nissan can change something about the missing thermal management, because they really should.